So we got two stories here. Valley Courier, Sullivan sworn in as new Costilla County Judge, and man gets 15 years for killing wife in Red River. I'm going to just read this one real quick. 15 years for killing his wife? 15, that doesn't feel like it's enough. I feel like you should get life. You should get life for that, right? You killed your wife. You were supposed to love your wife, and you killed her. You did the opposite. This is Taos, a man who admitted fatally to shooting his wife on a camping trip to Red River, January 2021, was sentenced 15 years in prison. This is Jesus Torres, pleaded guilty in August to one count of second-degree murder. Prosecutors said Torres shot his wife, Elisa Garcia Torres, 8 times with a .40 caliber handgun after the couple got into an argument while camping near the small mountain town north of Taos. District Judge Emilio Chavez presided over Torres's sentencing. It was gruesome and excessive. The defendant continued to shoot Elisa and only stopped when he ran out of ammunition. I'm grateful the judge sentenced Mr. Torres to the maximum amount of time in prison, as Elisa has 2 teenage daughters who will forever be affected by his brutality and senselessness. That's the maximum? No wonder Albuquerque has no wonder all the problems in Taos. That's the maximum. That's the maximum. Sullivan sworn in as new Costilla County Judge. So this is brand new day, right? Brand new day for Costilla County. There was the 10-step criminal procedure for the SLV is arrest summons, bail bond hearing, advisement of charges, preliminary hearing, dispositional hearing. Number 6, arraignment. Number 7, motions hearing. 8, pre-trial readiness conference. And number 9, jury trial. And 10, sentencing. You see how crystal clear? This is a wonderful, nice 10-step criminal procedure for the SLV. If one person, had what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I believe in the whole truth, right? Let's not just believe in just the truth, but the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The truth is immovable. If you don't even believe in the truth, which is kind of the bedrock for everything, what do you believe in? If you don't believe in the truth, what do you believe in? I got 8 common rules of evidence. So what I'm offering here, and I wish Mrs. Sullivan the best. Tamara M. Sullivan was sworn into office on Thursday to serve as the county judge for Costilla County in the 12th Judicial District. The vacancy on the bench was created by the retirement of Kim Wood. This is after being appointed to the position by Governor Jared Polis in September. Sullivan brings 10 years of regional legal experience to the bench. Since 2013, Sullivan has served as the managing attorney for the Alamosa County Legal Services Office, where her practice consisted of domestic relations, housing, and protection matters. Sullivan was awarded her undergraduate Bachelor of Science degree from Regis University in Denver 2006. She earned her JD from the University of Denver Sturm College in 2012. So Tamara M. Sullivan. Tamara M. Sullivan, there's a picture with Krista Newmeyer. And Krista Newmeyer Olson in her judge robe. And then there's Michael Gonzalez in his judge robe. And then Tammy Sullivan. I guess that's what Tamara is called. Tamara M. Sullivan. So congratulations to Tamara M. Sullivan. Maybe there'll be a brand new day in Costilla County. There's a lot of goddamn criminals in Costilla County. So if Tamara Sullivan can come up with a coherent ethical framework, because I believe what's good for the goose is good for the gander, that the rule of law should apply to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy or not. If a poor person, commits a crime and a rich person commits the exact same crime, they both should get the exact same punishment. Doesn't matter who can afford the best attorney. And if you want good convictions, get them both great attorneys. Make sure they both get the process right. If a rich person and a poor person are both accused, neither one of them is allowed to go around committing crimes. And so both the rich poor person and the poor person will have to get the arrest and summons, bail bond hearing, advisement of charges, preliminary hearing, dispositional hearing, arraignment, motions hearing, pretrial readiness conference, jury trial, and sentencing. The same 10-step criminal procedure for everybody. Now here's 8 common rules of evidence. The good thing about being on the same page is that everybody knows what to expect out of everybody. Okay? Everybody knows what to expect out of everybody. The 8 common rules of evidence is all relevant and material evidence is admissible. Non-relevant, non-material evidence is inadmissible. So anything that adds to the truth, there's actually a thing that says it defines a witness as a natural person who either has the knowledge of the existence or the non-existence of facts relating to any crime. So were you there? Did you see anything? No? Well, can you tell us that you weren't there and that you saw nothing? Yeah, I can tell you that. Okay. The non-existence of facts is relevant. When you're trying to get to the truth, everything, if I had a videotape and that person's got a video camera and that person's got a video camera, you don't want just one video camera and then ignore the other ones. You want to get all the video cameras together because each one of them adds to the total truth of the situation. Both court and parties can call an expert witness. Only expert witnesses can issue their expert opinions in their expert fields. Science, psychotherapy, technology, medicine, CRE 702. All witnesses can have opinion on ultimate issues. That's 704. So anybody can call whatever expert witness they want. 706. The court can call their own. If you're a lay person, you can essentially give all your opinions, but you can't, if you're a lay person, what you can't do is you can't pretend that you're a doctor. You can't pretend that you're a scientist or that you're, a psychotherapist or that you're a medicine or technology expert if you're not. But everything else, a lay witness can testify most of the time, most of what they know and their opinion. Really, who cares about people's opinion? Just the facts, ma'am, right? Just the facts, ma'am. They just can't testify they're an expert scientist or astrophysicist or doctor or psychotherapist if they're not. Lay witnesses can testify just so long as they're rationally based upon their own perception, and it's helpful for the clarification of a testimony or for the determination of a fact at issue. So if we need to clarify a testimony, if we need to determine a fact, then the lay witness can testify to the most. Everybody is competent to be a witness with very few exceptions. 601. No person has the privilege to refuse to be a witness or refuse to disclose any matter or refuse to produce any object or writing or prevent another from being a witness or disclosing any matter or producing any object or writing. That's 501. CRE 501. 401 says relevant evidences means evidence which has a tendency to make the existence of any fact that is of consequence to the determination of the action more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. So they're saying by you testifying, we get a closer perspective of what the truth is. So you have documents. If you have documents or photos or videos or eyewitness testimony, then you're a material witness. If you have any kind of evidence, then you're a material witness. A witness is defined as a natural person. This is 24.4.13027 definitions for victims' rights. So under the victims' rights statutes, they define a witness as a natural person who either A, has knowledge of the existence or non-existence of the facts relating to any crime, B, whose declaration under oath is received, C, who has reported any crime, or D, who has been served with a subpoena. If you reported a crime, if you've been served with a subpoena, if you had some declaration under oath that's been received. So you've testified, you've called the police, you wrote something down, deposition, affidavit, you signed your name, it's been put into court, you're a witness. You're a witness. You have the knowledge of the existence of facts, you're a witness. You have the knowledge of the non-existence of facts relating to the crime, then you're a witness. If you're a lay witness, you can testify about most anything, definitely all the facts, definitely what you saw. Get your testimony as best as you can. Here's what I saw from A to B. Or for a determination of a fact at issue. So let's, if someone was to say that this is a high crime-ridden neighborhood, that's a fact. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Is that a fact or is that not a fact? So for clarification of a testimony, for clarification of a fact, for the determination of a fact at issue. That's CRE 701. Why do I mention these 8 common rules of evidence? Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everybody gets a 10-step criminal procedure. Everybody gets the same common rules of evidence. There's 13 victims' rights here. Then there's 30 common Colorado criminal laws. And then there's 10-step criminal procedure. What I like about the 10-step criminal procedure is just 10 steps. Nice, crystal clear, clarity, short, succinct. You put in your pocket. So I got 30 Colorado criminal laws. You know, don't do this, don't do that. Victims' rights, a right to do this, right to do that. But I'll go ahead and there's 61 total. I got 61 Colorado common laws. I guess I'll just post the common laws because I don't want to read all of these. At least not for this video. I'll read these coming up with the next ones. But welcome, Tamara, Sullivan. We need good judges. The best thing you could say about a judge is that they were fair and even-handed. And what's so crazy is sometimes a situation will go down. Let's assume somebody goes into a grocery store and they shoplift and they steal a thing. And then the grocery calls the cops and they arrest the person. And then the person goes to jail and then he gets this and that and all this other shit and then his life is ruined. Is that what the grocery store person wanted? Like they were going to be a customer and maybe they just ran on some, bad times or some shit. I like restorative justice always. Always do restorative justice. I would like for Judge Sullivan to think about arbitration and mediation. A lot of times, a lot of disputes are just between two people, Party A and Party B. And let's try to get Party A and Party B to get along. Let's not pick winners and losers. Let's try to mediate. Let's try to arbitrate. Let's try to get along. And if needs be, if push comes to shove and a jury trial happens, then a trial of our peers, right? 12 people out of the community will pick the winner and loser. So it'd be nice to have a judge to look at a situation, because I feel like, go back to that shoplifting, that grocery store thing. What if instead of going through the system and all the, bullshit, what if the person says, I'll just work for my pay. I'll give the shop owner 10 hours of my life doing dishes. And once I've done those dishes, then I get to keep the thing because I paid for it. That's restorative justice. That person gets to stay in the community. The grocery store person needs customers, needs workers. It makes no sense to fuck over a person's life. It's almost like we really got to distinguish between petty and misdemeanors and felonies, because if we're going to fucking end people's lives over petty shit, it should all be restorative. If it's not restorative justice, what is it? It's just destructive. And maybe we need destructive justice. I think justice is eye for an eye. James Holmes was mass murdering people. He needs to be taken out of society. I agree with that. That one King Super Shooter needs to be taken out of society. That woman that killed Demetrius, she needs to be taken out of society for life, right? You beat a kid under 12. If you abuse a kid under 12 to death, you go to jail for life in Colorado. That's a class 1 felony. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. If you're a rich person and you beat a kid to death, or you're a poor person and you beat a kid to death, you go to jail for life. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So let's aim for restorative justice. Let's be on the same page. All the rules for evidence. A lot of people want to be like, well, I'm a lawyer, so only I can read the rules of evidence. You want lawful citizenry. You want the citizens to read the laws so that way they'll obey the laws. If they're not even reading the laws, what chances are they going to obey it if they're not even reading it? So, by having the common rules of evidence out there for everybody, we all can understand how to gather evidence. If the judge would talk about, I think they should. The biggest thing that I'm doing with my 10-step criminal procedure and all my common laws by presenting a common ethical or a coherent ethical framework. I force them to either say, either Jonathan is right, the 10-step criminal procedure is arrest summons, bail bond hearing, advisement of charges, number 4, preliminary hearing, 5, dispositional hearing, then arraignment, motions hearing, then pre-trial readiness conference, and jury trial, then a sentencing. You can either say Jonathan is correct about that, or you'll have to say that I'm incorrect, but that you'll have to provide an alternative. Because if you don't provide an alternative, then you're just like, nuh-uh, and then it's just a void. It's just a vacuum. What is the criminal procedure? If it's not arrest, summons, bail, bond hearing, advisement of charges, preliminary hearing, dispositional hearing, arraignment, motions hearing, pretrial readiness conference, jury trial, and sentencing, then what the hell is the criminal procedure? Do you have a criminal procedure? Do you have a fair 10, 9, 11-step criminal procedure? Do you have any kind of fair criminal procedure set up at all? You don't, do you? Because if you don't even have a fair criminal procedure set up, you're going to get a rich person with a lawyer who says a bunch of shit, and you're going to fucking be intimidated by that damn lawyer and whatever his fucking bullshit understanding. You know, sometimes lawyers have pretty good ethics. Other times they, everybody deserves a defense. So that means a lawyer may have to pick up a case that they don't truly agree with or believe in. But everybody has a right to be defended. And so, what am I trying to say? We need the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The great thing about the truth is that you don't have to remember anything. If you always speak the truth, you never have to remember anything. And meditate, and breathe, and count to 10. And also know the difference between felonies and misdemeanors and petty. Maybe the person raising their voice is a person who is rude and criminal and deserves exactly what he gets, or she. Or maybe she is raising her voice because she's never been heard a day in her life. And maybe you could actually take a moment to listen. R.I.P. Ricky Kaiser.